All right, welcome to this week's edition of the Collector Car Podcast. Thanks for all of you for listening, watching, and now reading the Enthusiast Guide to Collector Cars. I wanted to give you a heads up. I just got this really cool tactical bag from 511 Tactical. I don't know if you can see it here, but what's really cool is if you see me at a Concours event and I have this bag, which I got a really cool, the Collector Car Podcast patch. And then if you go up like this, I even have a cool one for the Enthusiast Guide. So if you see me hiking around with this tactical bag on and you do not have a book yet and would like one, hit me up because chances are I probably have one in this. Now these books are heavy. They're like almost 2 pounds. Even for a paper bag, that seems to be kind of heavy. So yeah, it's a quality product. I'm only carrying a few of these. I don't want 20 pounds strapped to my back at all times at these Concours events, especially in the summer. So if you see the backpack, the tactical bag, hit me up, and I'd love to meet you in person. All right, I am working hard on the Enthusiast Guide to Porsches. Now that one is probably 80% complete at this point, so I hope to have this one coming out in October and November. I'm soliciting quotes from a lot of key Porsche people. So if you're one of those folks and I send you an email, please respond quickly. Basically, I'm asking why Porsches matter to you. Or if you're an expert on like a 356, I'm asking you to talk about that particular car as it relates to that particular chapter. So doing a lot of reach outs right now. And then I have a nice announcement coming up, actually two from a sponsor update. I'm very excited about it. I just can't announce them now. So keep your ears peeled for that. There are limited sponsor spots left for the podcast, as you've heard, I'm sure. And then I do have quite a few available for the next book. So if you would like to explore that a little bit, just send me a note, Greg at thecollectorcarpodcast.com. All right, now let's talk about today in automotive history, and it is all about Ford. That's not because I like Mustangs. It just happens to be all about Ford today. Today, July the 30th, but in 1863, Henry Ford is born. Now, he was born in what is now called Dearborn, Michigan, and he would go on to transform the automobile and the world. Now on July 30th, 1899, one of America's first automobile parades took place in New York City, showcasing the horseless carriage to the public. Electric, steam, and gasoline cars all vied for the future. Now July 30th, 1903, the Ford Motor Company begins its first full month of production. While the company was founded in June 1903, July marked the beginning of Ford's first sustained production efforts. And then lastly, July the 30th in 1914. By 1914, Henry Ford's $5 per day wage and 8-hour workday were reshaping industrial America and helping create a middle class that could afford the cars they built. And finally, one last fun fact. By the end of the Model T production in 1927, more than 15 million had been built. At one point, Ford's Highland Park factory was completing a chassis in just 93 minutes. An astonishing achievement for the era. So how about that? All about Fords on July the 30th. I hope you enjoy these fun facts. If you've read my book, you know I love fun facts, so I will keep them coming. So please take a listen to our sponsors. Please support them as they support us, and then we'll get on to the podcast. If you're a collector, you already understand stewardship, preserving what matters, planning ahead, and passing things on the right way. That's exactly how Peristyle Wealth approaches financial planning. As the Ferrari Club of America's official wealth management partner, they help avid collectors who value resilience and attention to detail. And the founder, John Suarez, is active in the community. I've judged one of his cars before, and I see him at events all over the country. To learn more, go to peristylewealth.com. Peristyle Wealth advisory services offered through New Edge Advisors, LLC, a registered investment advisor.
Every garage is a mirror of the mind that builds it. The garage becomes a quiet dialogue between who you are and what you craft. A garage is where work becomes meditation and solace, where mechanical truth becomes mental clarity. Some people go to offices, some go to mountains, others go to garages. At Metron Garage, we build for people who do all three. Give us a call to get started.
If you own a collector car, you already know it deserves more than a standard insurance policy. NCM Insurance specializes in agreed value coverage designed specifically for classic collector and enthusiast vehicles. From weekend drivers to serious collectors, they understand how these cars are used, stored, and protected. To learn more about protecting your collector car the right way, visit ncminsurance.com. Coverage built for the cars you care about. Every car in your garage tells a story, where it's been, how it's been maintained, and what makes it truly yours. Carport gives you a simple digital garage to document, organize, and manage your vehicles all in one place. Track service history, store important records, and keep your collection dialed in with confidence. From your daily driver to your dream car, Carport keeps everything in order so you're always ready for the road. And best of all, it's free to use and is 100% private. To learn more, go to carport.app. All right, I'm back, and I'm doing something different this episode. I decided to dig into the numbers and create two different indexes. One of them is the overall momentum index. Now, that is what are the hottest collector vehicles in the market right now. Those are the ones that are making all the headlines, obviously. And then I thought it'd be interesting to look at the value momentum index. So this answers the question, which vehicles appear to offer the strongest combination of appreciation, affordability, and remaining upside? Now, for this, I used a blended formula using Hagerty valuation movement, auction results, private market activity, generational demand, and cultural relevance. It's been a lot of work. So I'm going to do 20 for the overall collector car momentum index. I'll have a little bit more information on the top 10, and then for 11 through 20, I'll just kind of list them out. And then for the value momentum index, the same. I'll review the top 10 a little bit more in depth, and then I'll just let you know what the remaining 10 are. All right, let's start with the top 20 hottest vehicles right now. Now, no surprise, number one is the Ferrari Enzo. I gave that a score of 99. Rating is it's a breakout star. You'll see a lot of Ferraris in this top list. There is one surprise that really surprised me. So multiple eight-figure results have fundamentally reset expectations for the Enzo. The headline sale was the Giallo Modena Enzo from the Phil Bachmann collection at over almost $18 million. Now, number two is the Ferrari 288 GTO. I don't think that's any surprise either. The original modern Ferrari Halo car established an $8.7 million auction record in Paris, followed by a $6.8 million sale on Bring a Trailer in July. So those have remained incredibly hot. Now, third, this one is a surprise, and congratulations to Broad Arrow for bringing this one to auction. A Porsche Carrera GT. This one was in a special shade of light blue. The combination of naturally aspirated V10 manual transmission and demanding analog character makes it one of the defining collector cars of its generation. Now, I think that is truly a car to keep your eye on because it is analog rear engine V10 Porsche that will probably never happen again. Actually, I'm sure it won't because of all of the hybrid technology now. And number four is the Ferrari F50. There was a $12.2 million result in January, and that raised the public benchmark for the model. And number five is the one that surprised me, Lexus LFA. Hagerty specifically selected the LFA as one of the vehicles gaining value in its July 2026 price guide update. And we had that recent sale where a non-Nürburgring almost hit $2 million. Number six is the Ferrari F430. Hagerty also highlighted the F430. Demand is broadening beyond gated cars and Scudieras into attractive, well-maintained F1 transmission examples. So rising tide raises all boats, is the way that phrase goes. Number seven, staying strong, 2005 to 2006 Ford GT. Hagerty identified the first generation modern Ford GT as a current gainer. It combines American heritage with genuine global supercar credibility. That one's surprising to me, not because it's not a great car, but it has gotten soft lately, and so it just makes sense that it would start ramping back up. Now, the Heritage Editions are the ones that have been hitting $1 million if they have no miles on them, and that's bringing up the non-Heritage cars. Number eight, the Ferrari F40. It remains perhaps the most universally recognized modern Ferrari and benefits from collectors concentrating capital on unquestioned icons. Number nine is the Ferrari 599 GTO. Limited production, a naturally aspirated V12, and links to the 599XX program give it a compelling long-term identity. Of course, it also has those three magical letters, GTO. Now, another one that surprised me for top 10, the Ferrari F355 Berlinetta. Collectors increasingly view the F355 as the defining bridge between classic analog Ferraris and the modern era. Now I'll just go through the remaining top 10. Ferrari 458 Speciale, no surprise there. Ferrari 550 Maranello, that one will make an appearance in the next list as well. Porsche 997 GT3 RS. Ferrari 575 manual. Now, another surprise, the Jeep CJ7 Golden Eagle, the 1980 to 1986 Ford F-Series, the Ferrari 360 Challenge Stradale, BMW E39 M5, one of my favorite cars, Nissan Skyline GTR R34, no surprise there with more of them coming into the US, they have a higher profile, and then the Lamborghini Gallardo 6-speed, that makes sense there as well. Now the biggest market story for this particular index is the Ferrari Enzo. The Enzo belongs at the top because this movement is not based on a single isolated result. The $18 million Phil Bachmann car established a new benchmark, while another Enzo at the same sale brought $11.1 million. And there's been numerous sales since then. Now the most important historical reassessment is the Ferrari 288 GTO. The 288 GTO is increasingly being recognized not merely as the predecessor to the F40, but as the starting point for Ferrari's modern halo car lineage. Gooding Christie's $9.7 million result exceeded the previous auction record by nearly $2 million. Now, the strongest broad-based story, the Ferrari F430, unlike the Enzo or 288 GTO, the F430 trades often enough for its movement to affect a much larger number of collectors. Hagerty's decision to highlight the entire 2005 to 2009 model range is significant because the strength is no longer confined entirely to gated manuals. Very interesting. All right, now let's do the top 20 for the Value Momentum Index. Now this list placed less emphasis on absolute auction records and more emphasis on relative affordability, market participation, and the possibility that values still have room to move. Now number one is a Ferrari F430 F1. Now the gated manual premium receives the attention, but good F1 coupes remain substantially less expensive while sharing the same naturally aspirated V8 platform. I drove one of those not too long ago and I absolutely loved it. Now number two, this one makes a lot of sense and is very interesting, is the Ferrari 550 Maranello. It checks nearly every collector box: V12, gated manual, Pininfarina design, and genuine usability without yet carrying halo car pricing. Now, I've seen these creep up quite a bit recently, and I even heard rumors of a dealer somewhere in Florida, I believe, that had stockpiled like 10 of them because he believes these will be breaking out and appreciating very soon. Number three is the Ferrari F355 Berlinetta. Values have risen, but the F355 remains attainable relative to the more expensive analog Ferraris now surrounding it. You have a little bit of a catch there. That thing is difficult to work on. You got to pull the engine out basically for everything. Now number four is the Ferrari 575 F1 transmission. Factory manuals are financially out of reach for many buyers, making well-specified and properly serviced F1 cars increasingly compelling. Then we have the Ferrari 360 Modena 6-speed. It remains one of the least expensive ways to enter gated mid-engine Ferrari ownership. Again, the 1980 to 1986 Ford F-Series. Hagerty's July recognition supports what enthusiasts have been seeing. Clean, bull-nosed trucks are becoming legitimate collectibles. This one's very interesting because when I was doing a book launch event at Autobooks, Aerobooks in LA, they've been in business for decades, and I asked them, what are one or two car books that everybody's asking for that no one has ridden? And they mentioned pickup trucks. They also mentioned JDM cars. All right, next is the Jeep CJ7 Renegade, a recognizable package, strong nostalgia, and usable size give it broader appeal than many vintage utility vehicles. After that is the Jeep CJ7 Golden Eagle. The graphics and cultural recognition create a premium that ordinary CJ7s cannot easily replicate. I would love to have a CJ7. I think those are really cool. All right, as I said before, one of my favorite cars, one I would love to put in my garage, the BMW E39 M5. Its blend of performance, practicality, and analog engagement remains difficult to replace at comparable money. Yeah, very cool. And then this one surprised me. Number 10, the Chevrolet Corvette C6 ZR1. The ZR1 offers exotic level performance, a manual transmission, and relatively low production without exotic car maintenance cost. Now I've seen these in the, I think it was a launch edition blue, but I've also seen them in red, which is very cool. But the one I would want is in like a metallic maroon. Just really, really gorgeous car. I've always loved the C6. C6 is one of my favorite generations. I know some people just don't like them because they're kind of stubby, but I think it's a beautiful car, and I would love to have that ZR1. All right, number 11 is the Dodge Viper GTS, and it's the one I would want. The original blue and white GTS has become an American design icon, while later colors and generations provide more attainable entry points. All right, for the remaining ones, I'll just kind of rattle them off here. The next one, number 12, is Ferrari 599 GTB Fiorano. Then it's the Acura NSX first generation. Then the Cayman 987. And then the Porsche 987 Cayman R. That's a car that I have had my eye on for quite a while now. I would love to buy one of those. When you talk to the owners, they're actually kind of not crazy about them because how the gearing is, long shifts. So I guess they would like to have it shorter gearing to make it more enjoyable to drive. And then next is a BMW E46 M3 6-speed. I just helped my brother-in-law find one of those, and that's a lot of fun. The Toyota Land Cruiser FJ60 FJ62 is number 16. 17 is the GM Cyclone. 18 is the Ferrari California. 19, a surprise, the Pontiac Solstice GXP. Turbocharged performance, distinctive styling, and relatively low entry prices make it a plausible emerging collectible. And last, number 20 is the Saturn Sky Redline, basically the same car. It shares much of the Solstice GXP's mechanical appeal while offering even more unusual styling and lower visibility in the market. All right, a couple notes here for the value index. The best Ferrari value is the 550 Maranello. The 550 remains the strongest all-around value proposition in the Ferrari market. It's not inexpensive, but its combination of attributes would be almost impossible to reproduce in a future Ferrari. It has the naturally aspirated V12, standard gated 6-speed manual, Pininfarina styling, comfortable and usable interior, meaningful but not microscopic production, modern enough for regular touring. Now, I rode with my buddy Chris to Katie's Cars and Coffee outside of DC, and he had one of those for a buddy of his. It was cool. It wasn't as fast as I thought it would be because he did lay into it quite a bit. The biggest near-term opportunity is the F430 F1. The F430 is already moving, but the difference between gated and F1 values has become so extreme that buyers are likely to reconsider the F1 car on its own merits. It provides much of the sound, performance, and appearance of the manual at a dramatically lower entry point. The most overlooked Ferrari is the 575M F1. The 575 has lived in the shadow of both the manual 575 and the 550, yet it offers a more developed chassis, a powerful V12, and greater everyday refinement. As manual 575Ms become almost unobtainable, the standard F1 car may be due for reassessment. I've often said for the 550 and the 575s, the cheapest one is the 575 F1 transmission, and then you kind of go up from there. Best affordable American performance candidate is the C6 ZR1. The C6 ZR1 provides a carbon fiber intensive body, a supercharged 638 horsepower V8, and a manual transmission. Its performance and rarity are difficult to duplicate at its current market level. All right, I hope you enjoyed those. The overall momentum index and then the value momentum index. I don't know if I'll do it again. It was kind of fun to see how things were progressing. I know you like to hear valuation updates. So, how did the value of certain iconic cars change in 3 months versus a year? And so I'll do that again soon, but there's just so much to cover. I might even go to 2 podcasts a week or have a couple bonus podcasts on Mondays. So keep an eye out for that. I already have a couple in the can that I'm trying to figure out where to put them on the calendar. So you might see some bonus Mondays coming up here shortly. So as always, thanks for watching, thanks for listening, thanks for sharing, thanks for reading The Enthusiast Guide to Collector Cars. And I will talk to all of you on Thursday.